Konaklamada yapay zekadan bahsedeceğiz. Bu bir devrim mi yoksa balon mu? Moderatörümüz Ussal Şahbaz geliyor. Ussal Consultancy kurucu ortağı. Ussal Bey buyurunuz. Hoş geldiniz. Ve Miguel Flecha, Delaight kurucusu ve CEO'su. Ve Cavit Çolak, Pricing Coach, girişimci, kurucu ortak. Ve Didem Ateş, LotusAI kurucusu ve CEO'su. Hoş geldiniz. Buyurunuz. 35 dakikalık zaman dilimimiz sizinle başlıyor.
Bu paneli İngilizce yapacağız müsaadenizle. Bütün konuşmacılarımız İngilizce'de daha rahat oldukları için öyle tercih ettik. Thank you very much for coming. Let me first briefly introduce myself and then I'll give the word to everyone to introduce themselves. Guys, biraz sesi düşürebilir miyiz acaba? Okay. So my name is Ussal Şahbaz. I run a government affairs company in Turkey and Azerbaijan, and now over the Middle East. We serve mainly technology companies like Apple, Netflix, Twitter, and one of the main areas that we work in is, of course, artificial intelligence. So this conversation will be quite interesting for me because we'll focus on concrete applications rather than general issues. Miguel, maybe you also introduce yourself very briefly.
Thank you, Ussal, and thank you everyone for being here. So, Miguel Flecha, I'm based out of Madrid in Spain, and I run a boutique consultancy called Delaight, which is focused mainly on helping the hospitality industry adopt AI with business sense. And I've worked my entire career in big consulting companies, especially focused on technology for the travel industry.
Wonderful. Cavit Bey.
Hello, Ussal. Hello, everyone. I am Cavit, co-founder and CEO of Pricing Coach company. So what we do in Pricing Coach, it is a revenue management system for the hotels, and it is a real-time dynamic pricing for the hotels, and we increase with this, we increase up to 15% revenue of online revenue. So we are working right now with almost 600 hotels. 85% of them is in Turkey and 15% abroad, I can say.
Very bold, very bold. Didem Hanım.
Thank you. Didem Ateş, about 27 years in disruptive technologies and last 15 in the AI space. Most of which was with Microsoft Business AI team, their first business AI team within Microsoft Research, then AI engineering team, and fast forward 12 years, I was part of their co-pilot team helping the open AI partnership and so on. For the last 2 years, I have my own AI advisory business for investors, asset managers, and so on. So wonderful to be here.
Thank you. So Miguel, the first question is for you. Now everyone talks about AI these days. I was in Islamabad yesterday for an AI event, 2 weeks ago in Egypt for an AI event. Obviously there is a bubble. So my question is, how do you separate bubble and revolution when it comes to AI?
Well, I think, I'm not sure if it's about a bubble. I think the problem with AI is that there is too much noise, as you said. So we are hearing about AI 10 times a day. Probably US companies are approached by lots of AI companies trying to sell their solutions, and I think it's very difficult to understand where is the value, within this, noisy environment. But honestly, I don't think there is a bubble. Like 25 years ago with internet, there was a bubble. Yeah. Okay, today internet for us is like electricity or water, right? We can live without this. But for me, there is a risk with all this noise of companies that can be left behind because the noise and the clouds are not allowing you to see the sun. And in my experience working with and advising companies on this aspect, I think there are 3 aspects which are very important to make sure that companies drive transformation in this age with all this noise. The first one is that companies need brave leadership, right? So we really need to take decisions and move forward. This is not about looking elsewhere. So many companies are scared of AI, but AI is coming, and AI is going to profoundly transform your businesses. So be ready for that. Don't look elsewhere. You don't want to be the next Nokia, BlackBerry, or Kodak, right? The second one is that you need to select where to start. You need to be very precise on where to start. And this doesn't start with the technology. This starts with the business. You need to look at your business, look at your processes, and decide which is the best place to start. Because if you start with the technology and I'm going to test this, then you may end up on a pilot, you know.
A lot of pilots.
Endless situation. And then the last one is you need to change the culture of your company because jobs are going to change. AI is going to transform how companies operate, is going to transform processes, and if you don't get your team to be up to it, then adoption will be a challenge, and then you will probably fail.
If you would map these three pillars to hospitality industry, how would that go?
So I think in hospitality, if I think of the leadership, obviously, you know, big companies have it. It's easier for them to do it, I believe. Maybe smaller companies, our industry is very fragmented, and maybe smaller companies are a bit scared of doing the investments, right? Don't be scared, just ask for help. That's exactly what we do. We advise companies on where to start, right? On the business side, on where to start, most of the industry has started with efficiency and transforming the back office. That's fine, but there are many other things that you can do. And you know, you will speak about revenue management and pricing. That's one of the big areas. I will speak a bit later more on where I see the opportunity, but think openly and don't think just on the cost side, think on the revenue side, because our industry tends to think more on the cost side. And on the culture, it's complex because at the end you need to transform the company from top to bottom, and you need to get to the hotel, and you need to get to maybe, you know, people who are less, you know, close to how a transformation works. So you need to take very seriously in hospitality how you transform the culture of your company, because you have very diverse kind of profiles working for you.
Yes.
So, do you mind if
Please.
Miguel's answer on especially the bubble question, which thank you so much for asking because it always comes up. I do want to clarify one thing. When we speak about AI bubble or hype or whatever, there are two concepts that often get mixed up. One is there's AI infrastructure, the data centers and whatnot, just like think 2000s fiber optics or whatever. That may or may not be a bubble, I agree, but enterprise AI, industry disruption with AI, we're just scratching the surface. We're literally at the tip of the iceberg. So as leaders, global leaders of your industry, I very much hope that we are not debating today in February 2026 that AI is hype or not. It's already part of our lives. You know, that's very important distinction, I think, in terms of this.
Let's continue with you, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Perhaps while you claim that it's not a bubble, you can give some concrete examples how, you know, AI is creating value in hospitality.
Absolutely. And I had some talking points, to be honest, Ussal Bey. We had a fantastic dinner with Oya Hanım and some of the organizers and other speakers yesterday, and listening to today's sessions, I changed my talking points. And what I'm going to share right now is, if I may zoom out of this industry. I've been in this space, I can't even count the number of industries and companies I helped in terms of end-to-end AI transformation. And I would say, checking the statistics, when we look across all industries, and I'm going to talk, there's a Turkish saying, dost acı söyler, like your best friend speaks the harshest. So I'll take that approach, but then end with an uplifting note. Tourism is behind pretty much all industries in AI adoption. It's kind of on par with construction, agriculture, logistics, and whatnot. And and then there's that fact. But you have data. You have tons of data, which is like you're leaving gold unused, lost opportunity. That's number one. Number two, when we look at AI adoption and distribution around the world by country, by region, there is a harsh truth today. I live in London for the last 20 years. I was in the States for 10 years before that. There are only 3 regions left in AI race. Silicon Valley, Shanghai, Beijing. Even Paris, London, blah, blah, are behind by years, not months. So and who are the strongest players in tourism? Spain, France, Greece, Turkey, etc. So these are not on the map. I apologize, but this is just the reality of the technology and the pace of technology. So within this context, I would highly recommend all of you to take AI as value creation. What did Alessandra, Gloria, Hakan Bey from İşbank talk about? They said move from volume to value, and we need to create experiences. We need to lower our costs and increase our revenue, which is the same thing in every industry pretty much. So to answer Ussal Bey's next question, how can you do that? You have the data, and two of the issues is value creation in your industry, the experts told us. Second is talent. Today, talent wants to learn AI. Young people want to use AI because they're already digital natives. So I would argue that if you embrace AI end to end and think holistically, not just sporadic POCs, experiments, this and that, and of course, prioritize the most impactful use cases, but make sure you're looking at an AI opportunity scan across your whole organization. Sales, marketing, HR, legal, all of these functions have very, very impactful use cases, tools, agents today. The other industries are already there. You wouldn't be able to do business without internet, right? It's the same with AI today. That's the reality. You can't be in finance and do financial modeling without Excel. Same thing for AI. So I think we need to step up the game. The good news is there's such a huge opportunity. It's a big step change for the whole industry and also your respective organizations.
Thank you. It was almost a lecture, which I liked. Now let's get more concrete, Cavit, if you don't mind. So you made a bold claim, we are creating more revenue, which was one of the components that you mentioned. Now you have the tools for dynamic pricing, but are the companies, are the hospitality operators able to use those tools, and do they make mistakes while using them?
Yes, it is increasing, by the way, the usage of revenue management system, but let me give you a short summary up front, then unpack it. So, hotels, they think that they have a data problem, and also they invest in process, but if you ask me what is the problem, it is a culture problem, okay? Let's start with the data, then we'll discuss about the others. So, the data myth, I say, while adopting this AI, I heard like hundreds of times maybe that hotels say they don't have clean data just to start the AI, but the problem or uncomfortable truth here is AI doesn't need the clean data, okay? What AI needs is directional data, consistent data, or explainable data. But then what is the problem? The problem is hotels expect from the data that to predict the demand, like crystal clear, and explain all situations, everything, eliminate uncertainty. But what we are
that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and what we are trying to explain to the hoteliers that, I mean, AI is not a tool to eliminate. I mean, it is a tool. It is not. You don't have to expect AI to eliminate the uncertainty. There will be an uncertainty, but AI is a tool for you to manage it in a better way, okay? And they think that when they use the AI, there will be no uncertainty. So it is the wrong thing.
But uncertainty is the basis of AI. It's a statistical model.
Definitely. So if you ask me, as AI, data perspective, I can easily say that there is no data problem about this. This is an excuse what we hide behind it.
Yes.
So the second thing is I call process trap. So right now, hotels have legacy workflows. They're all legacy. What we do, weekly meetings, weekly decisions, overriding all the prices, trying to understand every price changes, right? But on the other hand, we have AI. So it is working in a real time. So we have real time something. This is what we call this AI-based revenue management system, and on the other hand, legacy workflows. I think these two, they just don't fit. This is another problem. And what I heard from successful hotels, they never ask, is the AI right? They just ask all the time that, when do we trust the autonomous system, AI, and when do we and why do we intervene? They're asking the correct question. I think this is it comes the success comes from definitely from this. But the last one, I think the most important one. Let's talk about the real elephant in the room. I think it is culture. The problem itself. So what I heard from hotels several times, I noted here, I will read. They say, experience beat algorithms. They say, I need to understand every price change. And they say, if something goes wrong, I need someone to blame.
But that's always the case.
Definitely. But what separates leaders from laggards, I think it is not a technology knowledge. I think it is psychological readiness, okay? So we should discuss, the leaders here, okay? I think they impact all the workflows, and they are the real ones who support the AI, because they redefine the expertise, and they also reward learning, okay? And they protect teams from fear. So I think culture is the most problematic issue here, and leaders, they should somehow solve this problem.
Okay. The famous philosopher Bertrand Russell once said, it's a pity that all science is about approximation. So I think this all approximation and uncertainty is the nature of these things, and one should accept that and start by accepting that and flow into the uncertain environment. Miguel, everyone is flowing into an uncertain 2026, and the capacity is limited. All the institutions, there are budget constraints, human capital constraints, bandwidth constraints. If you were to fund for a hospitality institution one AI project, what would that be? In which area would that be?
Let me mention two. Okay. So I want to share a couple of examples. One of them is something which is very concrete and tangible. It's something that we are doing for a global hospitality chain as we speak, with great results. The other one is something that for me is going to be one of the biggest opportunities for the hospitality industry. Let me start with the first one, which is more concrete, and is focused mainly on both of them are on the commercial side, by the way, because I believe this is about selling more, right? And improving the experience.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Not the back office.
The back office.
That's the boring part.
That's boring, and the industry needs to do it, but that's something that is business as usual.
Exactly.
So one of them, the one which is tangible, is on the B2B side, on the commercial side, so sales, M&E, and so on. Here we have launched an initiative, as I said, together with a global group, on really transforming all the processes that the commercial teams are using to serve corporate accounts. And this has an efficiency component, of course, because we are automating some manual tasks. But at the end, what we are doing is we are accelerating the way the commercial team responds to clients on RFPs for meetings and events, for example. And that is bringing significant conversion improvement, and it's increasing sales. And also, by reducing manual work, those teams, instead of doing back office work at the office, they are sales agents. Yeah. They are in the street speaking with clients. And the results have been amazing with concrete developments. And we started with the processes, right? We started with the problem, not with the technology. Yes. That was one example. The second example that for me is going to be probably, as I said, one of the biggest transformations of this industry is how we prepare for a new way of distribution. So today, the way travelers, search and book is very fragmented. And it's very static, right? I book my flight, and then I book my hotel, then I book my activities in the destination, and so on. Now we are starting to hear that people are inspired by a conversational AI platform that could be ChatGPT or others, but there is a gap in the middle because the industry is not prepared to be positioned in this market for these AI search engines to find them, and this will require the industry, the hospitality industry and others in the travel industry to open their systems to be found by these agents, because very soon it will be an agent planning and booking my trip. Yes. Right? And it will be agents speaking to agents, my agent speaking to the hotel agent, to the airline agent, to actually plan my trip and book my trip. This is a huge change, right? And I think we need to be ready, and the ones that are there before will be the winners. And the moment that the industry is open and these agents are collaborating with each other, we won't just transform trip planning, we will transform the entire experience. And we will finally get to that promise that this industry has been doing of a frictionless experience, which is today is wrong, today is not happening. But the moment agents can speak to agents because the systems are more open, if my flight is delayed, my agent will tell the transfer company that my flight is delayed, and I don't need to say my flight is delayed, right? The traveler will finally receive a seamless experience. So the first one is more tactical, but it's concrete, and it's bringing example. And the second one is what for me is going to be the biggest revolution.
One short follow-up. I think most of the benefit of AI, as you described, is automating the boring tasks and freeing up the labor force for more creative, more things with more content. But is the labor force in the industry ready for this?
No, it's not. Okay. That's why we need to train the workforce. That's why we need to change the culture.
Yes.
Right? We really need to transform the way our teams deal with AI, because jobs are going to change, and we need to be ready for that.
Yes.
We need to train the people. We need to transform jobs, because if not, they won't be able to deal with this new paradigm.
Exactly.
And leaders, at that point, they implemented to their workflows already the AI. But the others, they are still trying to clean their data.
So there is a bifurcation in the industry. Some companies, some operators are using AI,
definitely,
and the laggards are just staying behind.
Definitely.
Another question. I think, always people just react to these new things. That's the nature of people. There's a tech backlash everywhere. One of the things that we always discuss in Turkey is if you book your hotel from Turkey, it's more expensive. If you book your flight from Istanbul, it's more expensive. These are all dynamic pricing tools. Of course, they are more rules-based, I think, compared to what you are mentioning about AI. But if an operator is using a dynamic pricing tool, an AI-based tool, how would they avoid these negative reactions?
So it has been 15 years. I'm in this business. 10 of them is like in airline industry, and 5 of them is accommodation. So what I experienced, guests, they are not angry because of the high prices. Okay, they are angry about the chaotic prices. Okay. Or confusing prices.
It's crazy. I mean, I personally book my flights. Like, there is a 50% variation in one day in the same flight.
Yeah, but it's what did you say? You didn't say like it is high. You say it is
variation,
fluctuating.
exactly.
Right? So that is why the summary here is very important. I mean, they are angry when they don't understand these price changes, okay? So in accommodation, I think I explained this with the 4 different guardrails, but they are very simple. So first one is fairness rules, as you mentioned. I think here, hotels should define the limits, okay? And something like there shouldn't be like fluctuating prices like crazy, as you mentioned, from one day to another one. Or it should be this similar prices between similar room types. Or it should protect guests, I mean repeat guests or the loyal ones. So what I experienced again, I don't heard from smart hotels that what price is the maximum one we can generate from one guest. Instead, they ask like what price still feels fair. Okay, they focus on that part. And the second one is, again, I experienced like clear explanations. We are discussing in pricing coach our algorithms, our dynamic pricing, AI, so on and so forth. But the interesting part, guests, they don't care about our algorithms.
Of course.
They just want to hear the explanation, in simple words, okay? So hotels should explain these price differences to the customer, to the guest. So you said that it is fluctuating and it was crazy and I didn't understand. So hotels should explain you for each, like in their web pages or online travel agencies or at the front desk. So as a customer, you should understand why these prices are changing.
Yeah.
And this third one is, I think, the brand consistency. This is very important. So again, the hotels should define the rules, like no sudden price decreases or increases, okay, or no big price gaps between different sales channels like web pages and online travel agencies, or again at the front desk. So what I think AI-based revenue management system is a very fast car, okay, and these guardrails they are trying to keep that fast car on the road, okay, but they don't try to slow it down.
Yes.
Okay, this is important.
So what you claim is basically if you put the rules well, the framework well, the AI can actually work within those limits.
Definitely, yes. But the most important thing is, I think, the human touch. Okay, so humans they should step in less often, but with clear rules. Okay, so let's imagine 2 different scenarios. First one is AI defined prices in real time, and humans, what I experienced, they are trying to override all the time. They are trying to understand each price differences, each price changes. And on the other hand, they just accept everything as they are, okay? They don't ask any questions to us to the algorithm. So I think it should be in a harmony. It should be in balance. Then success comes automatically, I think.
Thank you. Didem Hanım, last reflections. And specifically, I want to ask, since tourism is a people business, and we always talked about, replacing people with AI, although at the last instance you mentioned the human intervention is very important. To what extent human can be, replaced? And from all what we have discussed, what are your final reflections?
Thank you so much for asking. So I do want to share a couple of stories. First, I mentioned I have my AI advisory business for investment services firms, and in this room, I would like to ensure you may have different sizes of organizations. Please don't think that you have to have a massive scaled for AI or whatever, because this came up in our discussions today and yesterday as well. Very simple example from my life. We have one person investor with connections, different family offices, using our service AI analyst in a box, kind of semi-off-the-shelf thing, to Goldman Sachs and their 300 portfolio companies with 2.8 billion assets under management. Our typical the clients are 30 to 100 people, private equity firms. Why I'm sharing this is, it is here. It's not the future, it's now. So that would be my first encouragement, and it starts at the top. As Cavit Bey mentioned, culture is very, very important. Yes, culture starts at the top. And if we ask second why culture is so important, of course people are scared of losing their jobs. For that, what ensures value creation, EBITDA impact, both top line and bottom line, value realization, getting things done and seeing it in our business impact, and risk management. AI is risky. It's probabilistic. It can go wrong, just like cybersecurity. If we are not buttoned up, it's a time bomb. So for these three areas, for instance, how do we help our clients? Number one, how do you create value along your whole end-to-end value chain, your buildings, your facilities, your back office, front office, whatever. Number two, talent transformation. Who's going to adopt, embrace, and use AI with impact? Your people. There are not enough AI experts outside, even if you wanted to hire them. So this is super important, and that talent, it's not just training, but transformation is what Miguel alluded to, because all the jobs are changing. Sales is not sales anymore with AI. Marketing is augmented already years ago. So talent transformation, incredible critical success factor. Number three, responsible AI operationalization. So this is again what Cavit Bey was alluding to. I worked with Office of Responsible AI for years. The term responsible AI was coined in 2016. If you don't put the guardrails in place, even if you're using, let's say, Copilot from Microsoft, all liabilities covered by Microsoft, things will go wrong. Take my word for it. This is nature of the technology. So I am a certified algorithm auditor. What that means is we look at AI systems and say, this is high risk, here are some interventions you could consider. This is so important. Today in Turkey, there aren't even AI regulations in place. Doesn't matter. You as leaders are on the hook. Boards are even more on the hook, they just don't know it. So I'm sorry for this thought, but this is like, we need to step up as an industry, we need to step up as leaders of your organizations, and we need to step up for our workforce. Because they also want to uplift them, upskill and reskill themselves, right? And of course, put the guardrails in place.
Thank you very much. Miguel, maybe one last word.
Okay, so I agree with her closing remarks, 100%. So thank you for that. I will add one, which from my point of view is what I said at the beginning. Don't be afraid of AI. Mm-hmm. Be very precise on understanding and focused on understanding where you start, and start from the business, yes. Right? And then you need to be empowered and ready to do it. Right, which is what she said on culture, responsible AI, which I totally agree.
Start with the problem.
Start with the problem and do it, because it's 2026, right?
Yes.
It's not 2023 or 2024.
Yes.
It's 2026, and if you don't do it, you will be left behind.
Yes. Thank you very much. I think we have only one session between us and the nice reception, so let's leave it here. It was a very nice conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bir şey veriyorlar galiba.
Evet, gitmeyiniz lütfen. Yönetim Kurulu üyemiz Sayın Ömer Tosun. Buyurunuz efendim, sahnemize çok teşekkür ediyoruz geldiğiniz için. Ve bu panelde gayet güzel ve keyifli bir şekilde noktalanıyor. Bu panelin anısına yine hayat ağacımız geldi. Öncelikle hanımefendiye tabii, Ömer Bey'in her zamanki zarafetiyle çok teşekkür ediyoruz katıldığınız için. ve güzel panel için. Evet, bir de fotoğraf çekelim. Biraz öne doğru.